Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Cannapreneur Partners Canna News Break. This is an interesting one. So for those of you who have been in the business for any length of time, you'll notice that there's one consistent objection that whether you're talking about legalizing cannabis in a state, in a town, putting dispensaries in a town, you get this one objection every single time. If we legalize cannabis, if we put a dispensary in our town, all our kids are going to get hooked on pot. And every kid's going to be walking around smoking dope all day, right? That is exactly what you hear. Well, we've had two separate studies in the Journal of American Medicine for Pediatrics that have said that based on the data, right? Now, this isn't people's opinion of what's going to happen if we do something. This is data that's come out since we've actually done it. Two separate studies in the Journal of American Medicine for Pediatrics have said that teen use actually falls roughly 10% post-legalization in your state. So not only does it not rise, not only do we not have every kid in high school hooked on pot, as they like to call it, but we actually find less of them using it. Now the federal government, remember the federal government still wants to keep cannabis illegal on a federal level. The U.S. Department of Education, okay? The U.S. Department of Education's National Center for Education Statistics has found no evidence of increased teenage cannabis use in states where it was legalized. In a report filed last week, so it would have been the end of May this was filed, the U.S. Department of Education's National Center for Education Statistics showed zero signs of increased teenage cannabis use due to cannabisation legalized effects. The overall percentage of students who reported using marijuana at least one time during the previous 30 days in 2019 was not measurably different from the percentage in 2009. Think about that. So not only have you heard, and it's hysteria. If you go back to when your state legalized, if you live in an adult use legal state, go back to the polls when they interviewed people coming out, when they were voting on this thing. Every single person to a T who voted against cannabis legalization will have used at least this once. We don't want our kids getting hooked on it because it's available and all over the place. When you legalize and regulate, you take it off the street corners and put it in a regulated entity. That's why we don't allow people to make liquor in their bathtubs anymore and sell it on street corners. We regulate it. We take it out of the black market. We put it into a legalized, regulated entity, and illegal use falls. We know this is true from prohibition. We know this is true from the alcohol industry. There's no reason the cannabis industry is any different. So teen use is falling. Now, the interesting part about this report is they went back to 2009. The first state didn't legalize till 2012, and that was Colorado. So if you go back to this chart and go back to the dates when states started legalizing, you will find what the Journal of American Medicine said, that teen use from those dates has actually fallen. They're going back to 2009, which is several years before any U.S. state legalized and commenced selling adult use cannabis. So while it's fantastic, the U.S. Department of Education is telling these people, no, what you are afraid of and what you're claiming is false. It does not happen. It has not happened. It's actually even better than that. If you go back to the actual dates of legalization, teen use in the U.S. or cannabis has fallen and will continue to fall as legalization spreads across the country. So congratulations. Thank you for the Department of Education for dispelling yet another false myth about cannabis. Thanks, everybody.